So South Africa is one of the countries that is blessed with a lot of different minerals. However, these minerals, they are normally developed and mined by companies from abroad, from other countries such as Australia and Canada, the US. So a typical or an average South African, they benefit from these mining companies through employment, and the government benefits from these mining companies through the tax revenue that it generates from the people that are employed by these mines, and also from royalties. But that's not enough as for us South Africans. So in this video, I want to share with you an alternative on how you can benefit from these junior mining companies, which is buying their shares. Because when they start developing these mineral deposits, their share price, it's very low. It's cheap. They're trading at like 1 cent, 10 cents, 15 cents a share. And then this is an opportunity for you to scoop and buy a large number of shares with little capital. Then in future, later on, after 10 to 15 years, because that's how long it takes for a mine to be developed until it starts producing that mineral it's developing. You know, it takes 15 years to develop a mine, to 20 years. So by the time it's busy starting to develop and doing exploration, prospecting, drilling, constructions, the share price is normally very cheap and it's affordable. You can buy a lot of shares with a little capital. Then in future, as the mine start producing, then the share price will rise because the company will start now generating cash, making profits, sales, cash. Then now the share price will start growing. Now, these mining companies which are developing our minerals here, it's very important for you as a South African or as a retail investor to buy their shares while they're still developing these minerals, while they're still doing their exploration and trying to construct a mine, because normally the share price is cheap. Now, why am I so bullish within the mining industry? I will tell you. The reason why is because if you look at the history of the South African mining industry, the industry used to contribute a lot to the GDP in terms of employment. But now, if you look at the numbers from 2019 up until now, the employment numbers, the mining industry, it has regressed in terms of the number of people it employs. We used to employ over 500,000 in 2019. But if you look at now, in 2024, we are just employing around 470,000 people, which is a huge difference compared to 2019. So now for the government to actually improve on this and start to drop that unemployment rate, because there's a big correlation between the regression of the people employed by the mining industry from 2019 up to 2024 compared to the unemployment rate from 2019 up until now. As the number was declining of the people employed in the mining industry, the unemployment rate actually was also increasing. So now it shows that for the government to improve the unemployment rate and make sure that a lot of youth is employed, they need to invest into the mining industry because we have a lot of minerals. But South Africa is still perceived as a very risky jurisdiction. A lot of investments, they are going to competitors such as Namibia and the likes of Botswana around Africa, West Africa, and also to continents such as South America and also North America and Canada and also in Asia and Australia. That's where a lot of exploration investments are going to, because South Africa is perceived as a risky jurisdiction. The reason why South Africa is perceived as a risky jurisdiction is because of the volatile labor relations, organized crime, and the regulatory uncertainty, and the energy crisis, ESCOM, and our deteriorating infrastructure, which is Transnet, transportation of the ore that has been mined and concentrate or the product that has been mined into Richards Bay or to different ports in South Africa. It's a problem because our infrastructure in terms of the rail, it is deteriorating and Transnet is failing us. So those are some of the reasons why South Africa is perceived as a risky jurisdiction, and the reason why a lot of investments for explorations are going away from us to our competitors. But however, there is a little portion of companies from Australia and Canada that they still have faith in us. Companies that still have faith in our mining industry, and then they still investing, developing these deposits of different minerals in South Africa. So those few companies, I think those are the ones that have a higher chances, because there's few of them, they have high chances of being successful, because the government to develop this economy and make sure that a lot of youth around South Africa is employed, they need to invest into the mining industry. Now they have to improve their system in terms of the permitting with the Department of Mineral Resource and Energy. They also have to find those companies that are starting mines here from departments such as Industrial Development Corporation. So they have to give loans to these junior mining companies for developing our economy. So now stay tuned up until the end of this video as I will share with you this new junior mining stock that I've found. It's a good penny stock which is developing a vanadium ore deposit in the Limpopo province. So I think you might want to watch this video up until to the end so that you can know the stock. However, this stock is not available on easy equities. For you to buy the shares of this company, you need to open a broker with Interactive Brokers, because that's a broker that has a lot of companies around the world where you can buy the shares that you like. But now I already have an account with Interactive Brokers. That's where I will be buying this mining company, which is starting a mine here in South Africa. And then in the next 10 years, I'm looking forward to getting great dividends and great capital appreciation from my investments. So the name of this mining penny stock is Vanadium Resource. The stock is listed on the Australian Stock Exchange with mining projects in South Africa. The stock is not available on easy equities. However, you can buy the shares through Interactive Brokers if you have an account with this good broker. I am not affiliated with Interactive Brokers. I just love the broker because it gives me access to shares of companies that are not available on easy equities, which is our local South African broker here. The share price of this junior miner is trading around 5 cents with a market capitalization of around 25 million US dollar. And the flagship project of Vanadium Resource is Stilport Drift and Tweefontein, located in the eastern limb of Bushveld Complex, which is a region that is well known for actually hosting PGM deposits. And the Bushveld Complex is the host of well-known major and minor mining producers such as African Rainbow Minerals, Anglo-American Platinum, Implats, Samanco, Glencore, and Bushveld Minerals. So let's take a look at the mineral resource and the reserve estimation of vanadium resources. So the mineral resource of vanadium resource are standing at 680 million tons at a grade of 0.7%, and the total ore reserve of vanadium resource are standing at 77 million tons, also at a grade of 0.72%. And the mine, it has a low strip ratio, hence cheaper mining cost. Ore body able to achieve a higher grade concentrate of greater than 2%. And the final pit design and the ore reserve suggest a life of a mine of 25 years, which actually matches the mining right term. But based on a run of a mine and ore production rate of 3.5 million tons per annum, the project will have a mine of over 180 years. That's a long period of time getting dividends, provided you acquire the stock now while it's still cheap, trading at the lower prices, which will make you acquire a lot of shares with less capital. But now let's take a look at the technical report, which is also known as the definitive feasibility study, which suggests that the Vanadium Resource flagship project has a net present value of 1.2 billion US dollar at a discount rate of 7.5%, and the internal rate of return is 42%. And the startup capex, the capital that is required to construct the mine, it is estimated at 211 million US dollar. And the cost are estimated at 3.24 US dollar per pound of vanadium. The driving forces behind the future sales and earnings growth should be a part of your story for buying shares of any company. Now let's take a look at the driving forces behind vanadium demand growth. About 90% of vanadium is used in the steel industry, and the steel industry has been performing poorly lately due to the collapse of the Chinese property market earlier this year. Vanadium is also used in the batteries for energy storage, which is growing momentum around the world. The transition of the global energy generation to renewable energy presents an opportunity for vanadium demand growth. According to International Energy Agency, renewable energy is forecast to account for over 40% of global energy generation by 2028, increasing the need for global stationary energy storage. A vanadium flow battery is made up of 2 tanks with vanadium electrolyte fluid. The electrolyte acts as a cathode and anode. The tank size determines capacity. Vanadium electrolyte contains 145 grams of high purity vanadium per liter. So this means that the bigger the tank that is being used in these vanadium batteries, the more vanadium is going to be needed for constructing these batteries, which means higher demand in future for vanadium.
So most of the energy generated from renewables such as wind, solar, hydropower will be stored into vanadium flow batteries for later use. So according to International Energy Agency, energy storage global demand in gigawatt hour is projected to grow 5 times over the next 6 years and 40 times by 2050. The vanadium flow battery is a proven and commercialized technology at scale. Vanadium flow batteries are operational across plus 20 countries around the world, including well-known nations such as Japan, China, and USA. According to Vanitech and FerroAlloyNet, recent announcements from China indicate the potential of 180 gigawatt hour of vanadium flow battery deployment by 2030. This will require 1.4 million tons of vanadium. Just to give you a perspective, in 2023, global production of vanadium was equivalent to 225,500 tons. So the amount of vanadium that will be required for the potential deployment of vanadium flow batteries in China by 2030 is 6 times the amount of global production in 2023.
So every investment that you make, you need to account for the risk that is associated with that particular investment. So now in this case with vanadium being used into these vanadium flow batteries, there is a risk in this niche, and the risk is the competition from the lithium ion batteries. However, vanadium has some quite interesting advantages over lithium ion batteries, such as easily scalable, additional capacity easy to build in by adding more storage tanks, and they have a longer lifespan, and they are safe. They are sustainable, they are reliable, and they are efficient compared to lithium ion batteries. Now, the biggest question is, will I invest into this stock? Will I buy shares of Vanadium Resource? And the answer is yes, I will acquire shares of Vanadium Resource because the share price is quite interesting, and also the future of vanadium in terms of use in the global economy is quite also interesting. I think there is more growth within the vanadium niche or vanadium industry. So I will be buying shares of this stock. So remember, this is not financial advice. I am making only these videos for educational purposes only. And if you like the video and you like the content that has been provided in this video, please do click that like button and smash that subscribe button. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Happy investing.